sit in failure for too long, you will never come out of it. So the first part of my success was learning how to fail properly. Within you, something Something has to get you out of bed. And you have to create it. It has to be false. Because you're not it. You're a fat piece of shit. And that's the reality of it. So you have to create a false reality to live in that just to get to work on yourself. That's the reality. Because what I've done is in the fucking unseen work, I've built Frankenstein. So whenever shit gets nasty, David Goggins goes, "You had nobody anyway, motherfucker." So see how I'm talking myself right now? That's me. That shit fires me the fuck up.
All right.
That shit makes me fucking nuts. You had nobody anyway, motherfucker. Look around you. There was no fucking team. It was you. There was no weight loss program. Mom and dad waking you up saying you can do it, you can be better, trying to build belief. You built belief when you had nothing. Rock bottom. You did that. So as times get hard for me, the truth comes out. And my truth is powerful.
All right, we're live.
It's real. It's tangible.
How we doing?
Out of my brain as I speak about it. I'm reliving every single dark moment of my life to be here.
What's good? How's everybody doing tonight? That's right, make sure you smash the like button. We're about to get started here. Gold's moving, kind of as we expected. Bullish to start the week off. Big push up coming into the open. And yeah, maybe we're waiting for a big pullback this week. We can talk about some things on this session. We did expect the market to open bullish. We talked a bit earlier today. If anybody jumped on the stream that I did earlier today, we had a bit of a conversation before the market opened up. And we did expect it to open bullish. You can literally see the candle that opened just pumped up the first hour. Then there was a small pullback, small pullback. That usually happens when the market opens up like this. Kind of coming into one of those weeks, like we talked about earlier, where there's like an active market. This is one of those, like, you know, you can see how active gold was already right when the market opened. And even like before, like, you know, if we look at Friday till now, pretty active market movement. And time, you'll get active conditions like this. These are the types of conditions you can actually like multiply an account in. So let me show you one account for an example that's a smaller balance, maybe something close to the level that a lot of you guys are trading at. You need an active market. If you're trying to multiply an account, you don't need to focus on multiplying. You need to focus on the execution, right? Whether you're trying to do a 2x, a 3x on your account. The multiplication comes when like the execution is clean or there's a really active market. That's one thing when you're trying to multiply an account is if you get that like active market that comes around. Here's one example on a small account. Now it's Monday, and since Friday I've multiplied two accounts, and then I started one a little late. Almost 3 accounts I've multiplied like this since Friday. So this account's up a little bit of money, nothing crazy, but the multiplication is there. That's kind of what I go for. And it takes an active environment. You need, like, that's why we stay in the charts, because time and time around, the market will throw these different types of scenarios, or different types of scenarios of price action, right? Like different types of behaviors, market behaviors, different types of price action that could lead to that sort of active moving market. I had some trades on Friday that I held over the weekend. Because I figured, like, when the day ended, I was like I saw news was coming out, you know, the news that was happening over or before the weekend. trade with the trend. So when you try to multiply an account, trading with the trend, multiplying an account is much, much easier when you're aligned with direction. Whether it's a small account, big account. I'll show you another example tomorrow on the next session we do. But trade with the trend, find a trend, spot a trend. And I mean, you might have to wait on the charts to get that. Like gold just started really moving up, like giving this really active market. I mean, maybe like and time around, like you could spend like a week or two not doing much, and then boom, the market gives you an opportunity where it's like, yo, the market's moving a certain way. I can multiply my account in this. It could be like literally like just how gold. It could be this literally price action like this. It's kind of trading against the trading with the trend, not against it. So like not guessing tops and bottoms. That can be where you get like usually where I get stopped out or where I'm in early is if I'm trying to get like a top or a bottom exactly. Or if I get like let's say I get like liquidated or liquidity grab, if the market has like a stop loss hunt or liquidity grabs. Usually that's when it's trying to like catch a reversal or a top and a bottom. So easiest way, like trading with the trend is about like riding with momentum. If you spend enough time on the charts, so the times where momentum comes around and you can like feel it, you can recognize it. So it might be harder to try to multiply an account when, this is falling, for example, or this is falling. Might be harder to multiply an account if you're trying to buy, right? You're trying to buy that bottom versus something that's actively already moving, where you know the direction and it's more likely to go in that direction. Like, let's say this. Let's say you're trying to catch buys in here. It's gonna be harder to multiply your account, right? I mean, the market was in a downtrend there. But like it may be easy, like even like when it's pushing up or pushing down, like if this is pushing up, you're trying to catch sells, you're trying to catch a sell down, right? Might take multiple attempts till you get that big reversal and you catch that top. But it might be easier as like maybe more of a trend is established to go with that trend. Maybe even somewhere in the middle as momentum kind of takes in that direction. So we can see gold, we're above 5,000 now. Looks like we're trying to go to 5,200, maybe even higher, 5,300 potentially. Could be trying to go for a bigger push up. We've broken out of this area before if you look left. So I'm going to remove all the drawings. 5,000. Way down here. We were talking about that last week. Like we were talking about the $5,000 level, the significance of it, the price, right? We've held that since last week. Pretty like not the entire week, but what we started to notice towards the end of last week, for anybody who was listening to my sessions, is that towards the end of the week, gold was just kind of chilling around 5,000 towards the end of last week. I mentioned how that was pretty significant throughout the end of the week. We started to notice that. We started to notice, okay, this thing's kind of just chilling around 5K. It's not making much resistance. It's just kind of chilling there around 5K for a couple of days, and then we get a breakout through it. So we're nicely above 5K. We're above 5,100. This is an area that you can see has broken out before too. Like we have broken out of here. Wasn't much. There wasn't much pullback. Market just kept going up. There was a little bit of a pullback, kind of at where price is like right now almost. There was a bit of a pullback you can see right here. That's kind of around 41.50. So like there's two scenarios. And you can see this candlestick right here. This one. All right. Let's look at it on the 1 hour. Yeah, see this candle? Market already, you can see that wick we made right there. Like we pumped up. You have this huge candle. Technically, a bit of a retracement there, right? Either, so there's two scenarios. It's like if you're looking at the market right now, it did try, I noticed it did try to go down almost to 51.25. It did, this candlestick did get retraced there. Almost like halfway from the looks of it, like eyeballing it. Maybe, maybe we're going to try to fill that candle more. There was some imbalance there, but we did get a bit of retracement there. That could be enough. Knowing the market, that could be enough. It already did try to go up after that first pullback. So we could see explosive move up. We had this first pullback that came in early on, right? Market opens, explosive momentum, quick pullback early on, gets bought up. Might have been something to ride out at the time, right? You're watching a market like this, like that's where some of this multiplication. I traded a bit when the market opened. Because like I figured with all the news this weekend, like it's probably gonna open up bullish. And it did, kind of like we expected. So right now, like it's kind of watching this pullback we're doing right now, like we're going in another pullback. It could potentially react off of here. And maybe there's going to be continuations from that. If not, the market's going to try to go for a deeper retracement closer to like the bottom of this candle. So it's either like we hold this low or we're going to go for like a deeper retracement. Maybe hold a low, which is around 41.50. Or else you could look at it from this point of view, right? How I am kind of breaking it down here. Or you could look at it from a higher time frame point of view. Like, okay, if I was just looking at the 4 hour, it's like I wouldn't be seeing all that, right? Breaking it down to smaller time frames can maybe help you catch moves. That could be like inside the trend if the trend is more aggressive. Like if I'm looking at like say like a 4 hour, it's like okay. If I'm just looking at a 4 hour, it's like I'm maybe just positioning myself for the week, like looking at okay. Do we come down to 5100, which is still in alignment with what I said, right? If it comes down to that candle, like the bottom of it. And if you're just looking at a 4 hour, maybe you're watching for 4 hour rejection here. Rejection candlestick on the 4 hour. Potential sells down to 5100. Then it's like 5100 as an area where there's a possible retest to continue up. Now that's something you could look at. Doesn't have to happen today. It could happen 3 days from now, 4 days. Like that doesn't have to happen today. Remember last week I was telling you guys about if we get above $5,000, days before it got above $5,000, that it could retest it, and it happened at the end of the week. We talked about, I think when we were here, if we get above 5K. There was 2 streams I did. If you're inside the inner circle, I haven't been streaming much on YouTube. But if you're inside the inner circle, you would have seen me talk about that. There was 2 streams I did. Now, yeah, if you're just like looking at the 4 hour, maybe you're just watching like for a bigger pullback to a higher time frame area, right? Right now, like when you're thinking about time frames, it's just like you have your higher time frames, you have your smaller time frames. Now, if I was only limited to the 4 hour time frame, if the 4 hour was the only time frame I could look at, it's like, what would I do? What could I do right now? Or what could I see? What could I analyze, right? Like, right, let's just pretend the 4 hour is the only time frame we could look at. This is what we could maybe map out for the week ahead. It's a higher time frame area. Because I could see, like, it's worked on the 4 hour. There's been some rejection there. There's been rejection there. It also broke out. Right? We've had, like, resistance around this area. So maybe an area that the market tries to return to and find buys around at some point in the week. Now, let's say, how could that even look if it's around the area? That could be prices like 5110. Let's say it doesn't get exactly to 5100. Let's say we get to like 51. We could get to like 5110, 5100 area on the high side. Maybe 5115, 5110. On the low side, like 5090. But yeah, like if you're just looking at a 4 hour, it's like, okay, that's what you could see, right? And it's like you just kind of got to stick with that for the week. And that's how some traders trade, right? So there's more patience involved, waiting. There's a directional bias here, though. So you have maybe 2. If you're looking at the market like this, oftentimes you maybe have 2 setups, right? It's like I could potentially look for the sell down. If I'm thinking we're going to go down, maybe I'm seeing sells down. Or you're just waiting for the buy. It's something you can pay attention to. If you draw charts like this in your analysis, you might be good at spotting more than one move. Or you might be good at spotting the first move that comes down to your zone. It's like if the market's breaking down and you're here, you're probably thinking, I'm going to wait for this to pull back so I can look for a sell, right? So pay attention to how you draw your charts. You might be good at actually spotting more than one move as a directional bias. It's like, okay, we're going to come down, wait for 5100. Well, there might be sells down to there based on 4 hour, right? If we're just looking at the 4 hour. So something for the week to consider. You can obviously see resistance there right around that $5,100 price. I mean, with the way the gold market is moving, at the right times, the right weeks, 2 good trades, like 2 really good trades, 2 really good setups, like depending on your risk, what you're comfortable with risking, right? Or even market conditions. You get the right market condition, right? Something like an active market that's moving. Something that's very active, like we've had like explosive movement. Gold does that a lot, time and time around. I think every month you're going to see like weeks that come around that are like, oh, that you get more of an edge over what's likely to happen in terms of momentum. But yeah, if you're looking at 4 hour, it's like, okay, this is what I see. There's something to collect on the 4 hour. So it's like on the 4 hour, you know, I can kind of check this off and kind of keep it in mind, right? I can keep this in mind. Doesn't have to be something specifically right now. It could be something to kind of think of that could happen during sessions. Maybe London session. Maybe New York session tomorrow. Or maybe New York session 2 days from now. It doesn't have to be like we're looking for it to drop down right now. So remember that. You never know. A couple days from now, we might be talking about it. Let's see. I mean, for now, when you break it down, right, when you're going up here and you sort of break things down, right, and you're looking to trade more actively with current price action, like, okay, I'm bullish on gold right now. My bias is bullish on gold coming into this week. I mentioned that earlier today because of all the news, right? If you guys are on the stream, we talked a lot about this already. So this is where it's like I could break things down to smaller time frames and try to look for confirmations even on smaller time frames. 30-minute. Kind of mix the 1 hour right now with the 30-minute, 15, some of those minute charts, right? I could use price, right? In this instance, like 5,150, which is like around that low. 5,140 area. So I could give myself an area that's like, okay, for the time being, or going into a time. What do I mean by going into a time? We have London session coming up. So it's like if I see something that could potentially react, potentially perform, but I also see something else on a higher time frame. I have to understand the probabilities of things. I trade what I see, but I understand the likelihood of also, okay, it could come lower too. So I don't want to be sitting here thinking and acting like this is the only thing, you know. I'm very confident in the things that I see and usually how price reacts. But there's downside potential too. But what we could see here on the 30-minute is 4150 is holding for now. Not 4150, $5,150 is holding for now. Might be getting like some rejection around here. Like when the market opened, it was a quick pullback. That makes sense because the market just opened up, bam. Quick pullback, eaten up. Now we've just been kind of getting a gradual pullback here, right, on gold. So maybe for London, something to consider, this 5,150 area. Doesn't look bad. Maybe something to consider in the next hour or two, couple hours. It might even come down, test the low. Probably gonna keep an eye on like the 30-minute. I like to watch 30-minute for like rejection, for confirmation on like, okay, this is a good candle to get in. If I have like a setup, if there's like a pullback entry, like I'm looking at like a pullback entry, I do like keeping an eye on like the 30-minute, 15, kind of as a mix, like watching them both together, keeping an eye on both of them together, right? Like if it's like a pullback like this, or like a pullback like we're getting right now, but you could see some of these pullbacks, for example. There's some times where like the 30-minute candle rejects. Now there's a time it starts flipping. Like see like this candle here, for example, it's an engulfing candle, the one that I just marked. Probably like if you were watching that candle, like if you were on the chart and watching that candle, you probably would have seen it like flipping in the moment. Like it didn't just shoot up right away, right? It probably fluctuated for the first like 10 to 15 minutes. Right, before going up that extra 15 minutes, right, in that 30-minute candle. So it's like at a point when you're like maybe collecting a confirmation or you have like a setup in mind, it's like watching the behavior of the candle. Like, is it flipping, catching it maybe even before it flips? I always like to kind of mix between 15 and watch the candle together with the 30, and just like even the 1 hour, like you can even see the 1 hour is doing a pretty steady pullback right now. So yeah, keeping an eye sort of on this area, potentially for London session tonight, like this low. Is gold going to continue bullish? Maybe. We had a lot of news on the weekend, someone asked. Maybe. There's potential for that. Like look how it opened. We had a lot of news on the weekend. So you look at the news that happened on the weekend or even coming into the weekend, and you look at how price was even moving a bit before that. It's like, okay, now when you look at gold and you consider the events that happened last week towards the end of the week, it's like price was already kind of shifting up even before we got these headlines, right? It's like we got these headlines. sort of as price was already starting to kind of climb a bit, right? Break out, try to break out, right? So like when you take things into consideration, especially when you've traded as long as I have, 11 years, it's like you kind of like look at things like, is that a coincidence or not? Like, was that random? Because like if you think about it, gold was trading around 5,000 for a couple of days. We start getting these headlines, these news towards the end of the week, the weekend, right? Like, so it's interesting how price acts in the midst of all that, and even how price acts before that. It's like, yeah, it's been sort of bullish. Will it continue? Potentially. It's just looking at how does it. Like if you're looking at, like I said, like 30-minute right now, 1 hour, okay, maybe there's some bullish continuation, like a bounce here, maybe a reaction. Like I'm not saying it's the market will do what it wants. I'm not saying it's gonna shoot right to 5,200 from here. I think it would have like a higher probability of doing that maybe down here for a bigger move. So I think like for now, it's like watching these pullbacks that happen. If it's gonna continue, like if you look at last week, for example. So let me show you something. 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 So, see this movement last week? Right? I want you to look at every single pullback gold did since then on like the 30-minute and the 1 hour. Like this. So ever since it pushed up last week, every pullback is kind of just like steady gone up a bit. So it looks like we're getting like one of these pullbacks right now. Maybe watch that pullback, see how it flips, see what happens with the market. But look at since last week, since you got this first move up, right? That first movement up, strong move. Every pullback, buy. This is why I like gold, because like it's like you can catch on to it. You can after a few pullbacks happen, you can start to catch on to it. You don't need them all, but after it's like okay, we're getting bought like every single pullback. Even this, buyers, right? So there's some demand there. Coincidentally, what news do we have on the weekend and coming into the weekend, like just before the market closes as well? Like just before the market finished Friday, we're starting to get these headlines like Thursday going into Friday. All these headlines that we talked about and stuff. I know we talked about this. Like this was on February 19th. Right before like the day before and going into like the day the market closed, we're getting like all this news. Now when you look at gold's price action, simple. I'm keeping this simple right now. We're talking about pullbacks on the 30-minute chart here, right? If you can't see these pullbacks, right, go on your chart, study them. If you look at every pullback, basically, you know, you've had aggressive buyers coming in every pullback on the 30-minute chart, 1 hour. So that's kind of like what I've just been watching. And right now, we're getting another one on the 1 hour, right? We're getting a little bit of a steady pullback on the 1 hour. So I would think like if gold's going to continue bullish, you'll probably see majority of like the pullbacks get eaten up, like whether they're on the 1 hour, the 30-minute, or the 4 hour, right? So if you're gonna go in like aggressive, like me, like I'm more, you know, if you're more experienced, like me, maybe like I'm gonna be following maybe some of these 30-minute pullbacks. Like right now, I can see the 30 minutes starting to pull back, right? Which is like kind of what I just went over down here with all these. Look at all these arrows I just put. All of those are pullbacks that happen kind of on like fractally, like congruently on the 30-minute and the 1 hour. If you're looking at all these pullbacks that are marked here, I'm on the 30-minute right now. They should be clear, right? All those pullbacks should be clear, right? If you look at them on the 1 hour too, they're pretty clear too on the 1 hour, most of them. So like when you're looking at this in front of you right now, it's like, okay, if you're looking at the market right now and you're thinking, is gold, someone has gold going to continue up? Potentially, but how would I be watching? I'd be paying attention to these pullbacks then, right? I'd be paying attention to them, focusing on, okay, is there structure? Is there pullback entry opportunity? Watching pullbacks as they develop. We could see one on the 1 hour happening here. Now, 4 hour, that's something we talked about already, right? So yeah, ever since that move up, ever since this shift up, gold did a shift up here, and I talked about it live too. Like, man, I broke down the chart. There was 2 streams that I broke down the chart pretty fire last week. One of them was here. Ever since that shift up, you can see pretty much buyers have been stepping into the market. Maybe they knew something, clearly. So, I mean, you can watch, like I'm going to watch. Might get a signal out with it. I'm going to watch this low, going to watch this pullback. That might be like the first area to see if you get any confirmations around what 40. I keep saying 41. Oh my gosh. 5,150. I'm just going to say 150 right there. 5,150. 5,150. That could be the first area to kind of watch. Keep an eye on the market. Look for some confirmations. Watch the 30-minute candle. Watch the 15-minute candle. Watch for different confirmations in that area. See if there's, any triggers. I like to always watch for things that kind of give me that trigger of, okay, it's reacting here. Looks like buyers are stepping in, or the way the candlestick forms could be significant. I think, other than that, it's like what I talked about on the 4 hour, right? I think I was mentioning on the 4 hour. Other than that, if you're following buys, looking for buy setups, it's that other than what I talked about on the 4 hour chart. I'm gonna watch this area. Doesn't mean I'm just gonna jump in. Gonna keep an eye on it. Could be maybe the first area to attempt to watch on gold. Otherwise, it's still a whole week ahead. It's Monday morning right now. And it's still obviously a lot of time left in the week. We just started the week, so there's nothing to rush. Like, a good zone to probably wait for this week would be like 5,100. Yep, I saw Sol down like 200K today. let's say that. Down a bag today. Yeah, Sol, there you go. Like, these are the times to dollar, maybe even dollar cost average or weight. These are the dips. These are the dips that you're either buying or you're waiting. You're fearful or you're taking advantage of the lower, cheaper prices. Yeah, 77. Yeah, this first half of the year is going to be rough for crypto from the looks of it. First half of the year, not going to be looking the best for crypto. And it is what it is. You have to accept it for what it is, right? You have to take kind of each phase that the market brings for what it is. And we're in the bear phase right now, which can typically last 365 days. Keep an eye on gold for me. Let me know in the chat. I'm looking at Bitcoin. Let me see. Keep an eye on gold at 5150. Maybe 5150, 5145 area, or 5150, 5140. I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm just going to watch it. I got to keep an eye on this. Still early. Bear markets typically last a year, folks. So if we look at the last time we went down like this, 365 days from the peak. So if you're surprised, A lot of us were surprised with Bitcoin's movement, but we really shouldn't be, because think about the last time we had a bear market was years ago. 2021, November, was the last like peak that took us into a long bear market. So that lasted a year. Look, it went from November 21 to November 22. So we went from November 21 here. We got November 2021. And the exact bottom was literally November 2022. Is that a coincidence too, guys? Is that a coincidence or what? Cycles? So here we got October 25. So where based on this chart should the next bottom come in? Type in the chat. Type in the chat for me if you know. Where based on this, where should the next bottom come in potentially? Like what timeline? Not price. Like price would be hard to guess, but timeline. Timeline. Around what timeline, right? Very true. Yeah, I agree. I think all of us did. I think people just expected more from the alt season. True. Meme coin mania. On a gold around that 4150. 4150 doesn't look like a bad area. So maybe around October 26, November, maybe around there, right? Maybe around that timeline if we're going to go a year. I think when you're measuring something, it's good to kind of give yourself all the expectancies. Worst case scenario. You know, what's the bottom line? What's like a worst case scenario here based on patterns, right? So a year in terms of time. So we might make the bottom wherever the price is. We're not talking about price right now. We're just talking about the time. We're talking about the time. The time, maybe the time horizon. All right, wherever that price comes, maybe it's 50K, maybe it's 40K, maybe it's in the 30s. So I'm not talking about price yet, but just time horizon. So that's like one thing when you're thinking about like, okay, with this thing, how bad could it get? Because look at the prices today. They're coming down. You kind of have to brace yourself for that like worst case scenario expectancy, right? Probably not going to time the exact bottom or catch the exact bottom, but as it gets closer to that in terms of time, it's good to like accumulate into that. As that time window narrows down. So that would be after half the year. After we've gone through half the year, that's probably the time to get way more aggressive. As you go more into that time, right? This isn't financial advice, but it would make sense based on previous patterns. So maybe closer to the end of 2026, October, November. Someone said December in the chat. Whenever the market gives you shocking prices, that's probably the best times to maybe even DCA, like dollar cost average, when it gives you these lows. You don't want to be the person who sees a low price and then buys in much higher. If the market gives you cheap, low prices, then take advantage of each phase, right? If it hits 70, okay, maybe collect some in the 70s. If it goes low 70s, if it goes in the 60s, Gold probably it didn't come to 41.50. I keep saying 41, so like I said, keep an eye on that 51.50 area. You guys got a signal? Not yet. Maybe 51.50 loading, right? I went over the analysis. It should be clear, guys. It should be clear. Clear analysis today. Nothing crazy, right? Should be clear analysis I went over. Maybe we hold that low for London session. There might be a buying opportunity. I ran down Y, right? I also ran down Y. I gave you guys a bit of a training there too, right? With those pullbacks, right? Some of you guys maybe didn't notice that. I started to notice that after the second pullback. Honestly, after this pullback, that's when I was like, all right, the buyers are in. After that one, I was like, they're buying the pullbacks, guys. That's when I started saying it. Last week, I started mentioning this. So keep an eye on these pullbacks. This could flip. Like, this is another pullback, right? If you notice how gold has been trading, every pullback, right, has been pretty much eaten up. Bam, bam, bam. I started to notice that after, like, early on. I was talking about it live with you guys. Anyone who was following the streams. There was a few streams where I started to mention it as it was starting to happen, right? If you're inside the inner circle, those would have been in the inner circle streams that I did last week. So, keep an eye on these pullbacks, yo. Keep an eye on these pullbacks. You're going to hear me watch tomorrow. You're going to hear me talk about it. We're going to see, like, every pullback end up turning into a buy. Like, even right now, it's kind of flipping on the 30-minute. Like, see how the 30 minutes, like, changing its character, its behavior right now. You kind of have a little bit of green there. A little bit of bullish rejection happening. Almost came to 51.50. It came really close to 51.50. Hit like 52. It's very, very close to like the area that I wanted. So there's probably a trade loading here for London session. We probably have a setup loading for London. If not, it's like wait for 5100. Might have a setup loading. 51.55, 51.50 area. Maybe there's a pullback. A slight one on the candle. Well, we've been pulling back on the 1 hour. Even if you look at the 1 hour, like I mentioned, like even just every candle that dropped on the 1 hour last week, like if you look at all these candles, like I said, all the pullbacks last week, ever since that move, every pullback. Yeah, like it could, this pullback might not stick. Like it could be something like this where the market gives a confirmation. See this candle? How there was a pullback, candle rejected, and then it comes down. So like still, it just turned into a bigger pullback. So I mean, like the dip could turn into a dippity dip, right? This is like the first dip. If it doesn't hold, it would just turn into a bigger pullback. 51.50 looks like it might be holding. Like it didn't get there, but it might end up holding like 51.55. I always like to go $5 above or $5 below when I have like a good price. So it's like if I'm looking for lower entries, obviously want like 51.50. Like the best entry would be 51.50. Right? If I can get that, that's the best entry, and that's gonna take maybe some time to wait for. If it doesn't hit that price, like it might not hit that price, and that's where I like to sometimes go $5 above and make a zone where it's like I can do 51.50, 51.55 area and try to see if price reacts in that area around, or just try to simply wait for 51.50, see if price can give like lower grabs near 51.50. Maybe that could be 51.52, 51.51, right around 51.50. Still, it's like 1 a.m. almost. London session's loading in like 2 hours. Oh, the price is still kind of just steady pulling back right now. So it's not like it's taking off or anything. There's probably still time before this takes off if it's going to. So maybe we could still get close to 5150. That's kind of personally where I'd want a signal. If I'm going to send one out, is around as close to 5150 as possible. Or maybe keep an eye on price and try to see if it gets like close fills to it. 5152, 5151. I just wanted to come on here before London session starts because the chart was looking good. I'm going to be on for New York session, so I'm going to wrap it up a little early tonight. But this is all I'm going to be kind of keeping an eye on tonight. I might drop a signal. I want 5150. If I can wait, we can wait. We don't got to FOMO into it, jump into it. There's still no rejection candle either. Maybe 5150, 5145 area. That would be the best entry. Or I put stop loss. Like, let's say if there's good confirmation around 5150, honestly, got to go by the rule book. We got to put stop loss like near the low. If you're trying to swing trade, like it could go to 5200, but might be a reaction back to the high. Like take it back to the high, right? Come back to the high. The big move is trying to go get a trade to 5200. That might take more than one attempt. It's more likely to get like a minimal move. Stop loss, like how do I place stop losses? When I have a setup, it depends if I'm buying or selling. Obviously, this is a buy, so it's like my stop loss is going somewhere below me. I'm going to look at structure. So it's like, okay, I got structure here behind me. That's the most recent structure if I'm breaking it down in terms of the time frame that I'm viewing. I'm not going to go, where's the most recent 4-hour structure and be like, all right, I'm going to put my stop loss here and look at like the 4-hour low down here, right? I'm not going to do that, or, you know, down here. Yeah, exactly. Like down here, I'm not going to use the higher time frame recent structure. It's kind of like more in terms of what's in front of me. Like if I zoom in and look at the 1 hour, it's like I could see this candle here. All right, so break it down to a 30-minute. There's a low there. That's the most recent low. I'm not going to go down to here. That's too far, right? But yeah, gold. So in terms of stop loss, like where would I put it around to be safe? Like I'm getting around 5150. That could maybe even be around it, around that price. Stop loss near the low. Maybe we can get there. Maybe we can get there. This is one of those, if you're inside the inner circle, I talk about it a lot. Like I don't, like we stream way more. Someone asked me what's the difference between the inner circle and your videos on YouTube. Well, like it's just like the amount of streams I do in the inner circle. Like I don't really stream. Like if you look at YouTube, I haven't really been streaming here actually. Like I've been the last couple days, but 11 days ago, 13 days ago. Yeah, and then the last couple days, but if you actually go like in the inner circle, I'm streaming way more. Like way more compared to here on YouTube. So there's just a lot more experience gained there, a lot more lessons. Like let me there's just a lot more experiences and lessons there. Like if we look at, yeah, like here we go. Oh yeah. So there's a lot more inner circle streams happening than the live streams here. Like before I go live here, I'm like live, like for instance, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions before I went live here. 1, 2. So I'm usually going live way more in the inner circle than I am here. Like 1, 2, 3 sessions, then I went live here. 1, 2 sessions, then I went live here. So there's just a lot more experience, a lot more knowledge, a lot more time spent there. Couple hours here versus like hundreds of hours built up over there. There's a significant difference, I would say. With Inner Circle 2.0, like when it launches, Inner Circle 2.0 is 40 days. Well, yeah, like 40 days starting yesterday since launch. So we're 40 days out from launching new website. So you'll when the new website comes out, everyone will see the difference. But I'm not. I'm it's hundreds and hundreds. It's like thousands of hours versus like a couple hours. Like some of my YouTube videos are 15 minutes versus hundreds and hundreds of hours. Gold may be setting up signals. Like I send all my signals there too. The classroom, the whole course. This is going to be the difference. Which is loading. We're about 40 days from 39 now. Well, technically like 39. It's going to be a major difference. There already is a major difference. I'm not here to talk about it. 5150 would be nice. There's kind of a little bit of reaction happening there. Nothing crazy right now, but I know gold, and yeah, it could react maybe before that. Like this is again one of those instances where you could look at trying to fill a zone. It's like, okay, does 5155, 5150 hold? This is where you could try to work like an area. It has like an area that's pretty clear. Loading. Potentially London session. If not, like I don't see another setup until maybe New York, like depending on like I just go to the charts, like think about it, like London session's loading, so this is what we have. Maybe that we can look at here in London. We stream 7 hours from now. We'll probably be looking at price at the market will be at a different price. Different candlesticks will have formed by then. And we might be just looking at an entirely different setup 8 hours from now or 7 hours from now. Or an entirely different like part, or honestly, we might be looking at the same setup or something similar. Like price-wise, maybe we're looking at the same price. Right? Like this is what we kind of have for this session, London. 7 hours from now, we'll have most likely something different for New York. Maybe the market's at a different price. Maybe it's around the same price, but just giving us some different patterns, different look, right? Now, is there always a trade setup every time you go to the chart? No. I wouldn't say every single time you go to the chart, there's going to be a trade setup actively in front of you or something you can identify. That's clear. This is clear, right? Is there always something actively in front of you every single time you pull up with the laptop? I would say no. And that's kind of why I like gold, because it's like, all right, if I don't see anything, it's like, let me give myself another session to come to the market at, right? It's nearing London session right now, so I see this. It's around London session, a time where volume can come in. So if I don't see something right now, let me wait until closer to New York session. Because you guys see what time it is right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's not 3 a.m. It's not London session yet. But this next hour to 2 hours is important because it's like pre-market. It's where you could start to see things maybe moving, start picking up a little bit. Volume even starts kicking in over the next hour. Literally an hour from now, you will see gold moving faster right around 2 a.m. So it's kind of like a good time to jump on the charts and see what's going on, where price is at. Maybe collect something and give yourself maybe some anticipation for a movement. See what's going on even a bit before London. Same thing with New York. Like I always like to kind of see what's going on a little bit before New York. So this good time, this right now, like we could have jumped on right now. And like realistically, we could have jumped on right now. Same time. Like this is a good time. And even the time that I've been on, like the last hour or this hour, now going on to the next hour because it's 1 a.m. is a good time to kind of jump on the charts, see what's going on. It's a bit before London session. $51.50. $51.50. Maybe we get that 5150. 350. 350. Last candle, bit of rejection there on the last candle, 30-minute. Yeah, we did get a bit of rejection there on the 30. So even 1 hour is still steady pulling back. Not looking bad. Might have a setup loading. Think we got a signal loading. Let's keep an eye on her. I'll drop some charts. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll drop some charts in the chats for you guys on this session. If you're inside the inner circle, we might have a signal loading here. So keep an eye on like 5150, 5155 area. We got a bit of rejection on the 30-minute. Maybe gold can wick back. Like maybe we can create a wick back down. Kind of how we just did, like a wick back to get that push up for a good entry. But yeah, analysis looks decent, looks pretty solid. Doesn't look bad. 1 hour is pulling back. If we can get like a wick back, we might have a possible entry. It's above 5150. What's the 4 hour looking like? Yeah. We're above 5150, like I mentioned, so might make a solid move off of that. Might look for buys. I might look for buys personally around 5150, 5155 area for gold. I try to drop a signal out and get a good entry zone for you guys. So I'm going to wrap this session up. Going to be on for New York session. Same thing to see where gold's at. See where the market's at. Make sure you guys tap in. Make sure you guys tap in. Next 30 days are going to be very active, guys. All right. We're probably going to wrap the session up in a few minutes. If you guys have any questions, type in the chat. I'll answer maybe a few quick questions. See what you guys are saying in the chat. We are 40 days from Inner Circle 2.0 launch. This is basically an outline of how the website's kind of going to look like. Just an outline of where some of the formats and where some of the features are going to be when you're inside the website using it. But there's going to be more features and more stuff added because we've been working on this for a little bit now. So there's going to be like a get started section. And it's going to look different from this, but this is going to be like where you get started, understand everything from the community, where to start in terms of videos, what to go through in terms of sessions, how to get on the sessions, how to get in the Discord, signals, tools, everything is going to be compacted in this section. It's going to be like a basic section, right? And then you're going to have basically your hub, which is going to be different. It's going to show you like your score here. This is going to be basically like a score and everything that you finished. And to show you where everything is in terms of community. So Discord, Telegram, Instagram, YouTube. And as you can see here, so it's going to be like I can't click on everything. Like I can't click on everything because this is kind of just like a PowerPoint, you could say. But let's say when you click on a video, that's here. And these might be just like different videos, kind of like this is going to kind of be like, you guys know how like YouTube works, how I upload videos on YouTube. This is kind of going to be like a YouTube section. This isn't the course. The course is over here in Classroom. So this is where the course is going to be. This is going to kind of be like a YouTube section in a way. And if you look at this, when you click on these, it'll take you to the video. This, you have to watch the video so you'll unlock. There will be a free section on this somewhere on the page. Live streams, calendar. We're going to have our own like live stream in-house. So live streaming is going to just be like in-house through the website. Chat will be there, everything. Going to have the community section, which is kind of like a Discord section inside as well. Pretty much like school, but this is pretty much like similar to how like school is, but a little bit cooler looking. But just a few sections for things. Just a few sections for things like understanding gold, analysis, stuff like that. I'm probably going to change those sections and make them different from the ones that I have right now. This is a trading journal where you're going to be able to import your trades and see how you did weekly. And then we're going to have the tools, scanners, all here. So trading view imported. Can't click on anything, can't move this, obviously. This is just like a PowerPoint. Like I said, this isn't everything. This is kind of just like a general outline. So we're 40 days away from launch. So the next 30 days, you guys are going to see me really active. Make sure you guys tune in. If you're inside the inner circle already, you're already early. If you're not inside the inner circle, when 2.0 comes out, you're late, right? If you don't join when 2.0 comes out, you're basically going to be late to the party because price will go up when 2.0 launches. So if you're in now, you're in early to say the least. Because 2.0 is around the corner. It's going to be sick. I'm excited because I'm going to be using this every single day. So yeah, we're building up to that. A lot of things are going to be done. Gold maybe holding the area. I know. I see it now. It's popping up. What can we do? We have to wait for like pullbacks. You have to maybe adjust the zone. It might not hit 5150. It might be like a 5155, 5160 area. But yeah, like I said, if it wicks back, if it feels like any lower prices, there's potentially this thing pushes up. But like I said, if you're in the inner circle already, you're early. And we're going to be upgrading 40 days out. Not like a bit over a month from now. So lock in if you're not, because a lot of things, a lot of work. Once I launch 2.0, I'm going to be working a lot. I'm going to be streaming a lot. I'm going to be working a lot. I'm going to be putting a lot of hours and a lot of time into it. Every day, we're going to be every day. We're going to be on it every day. So when 2.0 launches, it's going to be sick. Make sure you guys stay with the rhythm, stay with the flow here. Rejecting on the 30-minute. I see that. 1 hour might be flipping, yeah. It could still wick down. Like I said, keep an eye on it, guys. There might be a move setting up. But alrighty. About to wrap it up. Maybe there's a signal loading. Let's see. We'll see. I went over the analysis. Like I say, like a lot of analysis and things I talk about on these sessions, I'm sending a signal. So let's just see. Let's just stay patient. See if you see any confirmations. Watch the candles. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to wrap it up in a couple minutes. The school website will always stay there, but pretty much kind of going to replace it in a way. It'll always stay there. Buy the dip can turn into a dippity dip at times. Buy the dip turns into a dippity dip. That's one of these. That's when you get a clear buy setup, and then price goes down. So here there was like a nice setup on gold, and it did go down. Were we taking buys there? And that was at 49.75. Look at that. Look what they did. Look at that candle. Look what they did right there. Perfect candle. That's like that type of candle. That's what I mean when I say like trigger or candlestick behavior. That green candle right there. Wick down and then it creates the buy. Look, pulling back slightly. See, 5150 is still an option. You know, we're not that far. We're a little bit above it. All right, 5150 is still an option. See, so it didn't go yet. It didn't go yet. I know some of you guys, we got worried there. I know we got worried there. We got worried there too. Don't worry. I feel you. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll be on in the morning. And I'll see everybody next session. I'll let you guys know when I'm going to go live. That's pretty much what I've been doing. I've just been popping up lately for this month. I'm probably going to do that until March. March, I'll go back to like actual scheduled time. Probably just going to be popping up around London session, New York session until March. New month. We got like 5 days left in the month. Oh yeah, 28. Watch that 1 hour pullback. Watch that 30-minute. Like I said, gave you guys the map. Friday, I gave you guys also the play, so let's see what happens in the next couple of hours here. I'm out though. I'll see everybody next stream. That's really it for me tonight for London session. Loading. All right. Peace, 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 peace.